I know you had asked about my family, so I can talk a little bit about that. I'm sure I've talked about it before, and some of you have heard about my family. I have to say, I grew up with in one of the best families ever. There was a show in the United States called The Waltons, and we were like the Walton family. I feel grateful and blessed every single day that I had the parents I have the siblings I have, and just the glue that has kept us all together, the love, the support, because I know not everybody has been as fortunate as I've been. And, my dad passed away almost 2 years ago at 95. My mom's still alive. She's 93. I have six siblings, so there's seven of us. And there's Bill, Nancy, Cindy, Lisa, me, and then the twins, Bob and Tish, are the youngest. You can see my brother Bob in one of the videos for O Staff when we were in Boston, because he
Oh,
came to that. He's an engaged founder, as is everyone in the family. But yeah, so seven kids, two parents. we were we grew up, actually, I learned a lot from my parents. We we did not come from wealth whatsoever. I never even realized that we were poor in some ways because I never felt it. Um, I my parents were always, my dad was working, my mom was always home. We always ate together, all of our meals except when we were in school. We would have dinner every night at the supper table, nine of us. And my mom was an excellent cook. There was always plenty of food if a friend wanted to come over. And my parents always opened the door and the house to those in need. So I would watch my father take people in who needed a place to sleep for a few days, needed a hot meal. He would take them in. They would be part of the family for a few days, whether it was relatives or people he knew or people struggling. And not only did they come in, we would have a lot of fun. We would do activities. So I think I owe so much to having a dad like my father and my mom, because my mom was kind of the ringleader. She ran the household, and which allowed my father to have a lot of fun with us, because she was the business person in the household, and my
um,
dad was kind of the
my father,
funny, silly one. Yeah.
my fa- yes, my father was also funny, and my father and your father date of death were same.
Yep.
17 September 17 September 2022. My father died.
Mine too.
Next
Yep.
day, next day,
That's right.
Ash called me. Ash called me on my WhatsApp number for condolence of my father, and then he told Susie father too died same day. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was that day, that was very sad for both for us, both of us, and my father. Actually, we have many memories of my family, my parents, my father, like you, and and very if we talk about our family, I think the show will go 3 or 4 hours. 4 hours. It's very it's long time. So thank you very much, Jeanne S, ma'am. She is on chat.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says, Susie,
Hi,
we have a
Jean.
similar families. We close siblings and parents connected at the heart. God bless your mama, she said.
Yeah. I think Jeanne
And
and I were
she,
separated at birth. We were twins someplace, and they took Jeanne off, I think, Pennsylvania, Jeanne, and I ended up in Massachusetts. You know what, that yeah, because very similar. And it's wonderful to have that. But I also know that there are people that did not have a family like that and have been extremely successful in life. So you either choose to live a good life, choose to be happy, choose to do the right thing, no matter what's happened to you in the past. Because there's people from good families who turn out bad, and there's people from bad families who turn out good. So I think it's so important in life not only to have your family, but also different mentors, people you can look up to. I played a lot of sports. I played in the band too. I played the flute when I was young. I learned to play the flute in fourth grade. I was in the band, and I also played sports. I did a lot of things through high school and college, and that's where you get different mentors. You get people you look up to, whether it's coaches, whether it's teammates. I mean, look at the Olympics right now. I just want to say something about if people are watching the Olympics, you know what's going on in the Olympics. The teamwork. I'm from the United States, so of course I'm going to cheer on the United States. Forget about the politics that are happening in the United States right now. It is such a sideshow. It is so ridiculous. Then you turn on the Olympics, and it gives you hope and faith and love and humanity again. That here are people really, really, so, representing the United States of America, coming together. The gymnasts, the swimming. I love watching it because it really shows you that there are people out there that are focused on being a community, being a family, doing good things together, cheering each other on, and proud to represent the United States. I'm only speaking for the United States, of course. I know there's people around the globe watching this, but that really warms my heart. It's like, turn off all the other crap that's going on. Watch these athletes who are together, just making it happen. Dedication.
yes. So, ma'am, ma'am, can you share with us your early childhood memories and how they shaped you?
Okay. I don't know if I've told this story before, maybe in another uh, webinar. We grew when I was born in 61, and we moved in August. I was born in April. We moved in August to Belchertown, Massachusetts. I know it has a funny name, Belchertown. And my father took a position as the head farmer for the Belchertown State School. And the Belchertown State School was an institution for the mentally retarded and disabled. Okay, so we're talking back in 1961. My dad was a horticulturalist, and he knew farming. He knew how to help farmers and whatever. So my father brought the family there. We lived on the grounds in this big white house. And my dad ran the farm. And what that meant was he had the dairy farm there, he had the chickens, he had horses, and he would have residents of the Belchertown State School. Back then, we called them patients, but now the politically correct thing was residents. A lot of them were older men that were at this facility that were very high functioning. And my dad ran the farm, and they provided the milk for that institution and a few others in the area. And it supplied the eggs, and some of the chickens were sold to Campbell Soup. And then my dad had horses there. And as I was growing up in the late 60s and early 70s, my dad started a therapeutic riding program of horses. So they would take some of the residents who were severely autistic or having very bad, situation in life. My dad would get them on a horse, and their whole demeanor would change. It was like magical watching what my father did. My father loves horses. He knew that this could be something to help the Belchertown State School. And oh my goodness. And I know Jeanne, I know she contributed to the farm where we're trying to save the historic farm where my dad worked. But anyway, we spent a lot of time with my dad there. And the older residents, the older male residents worked with my dad. They loved it. They would get up at 4 a.m. They had a purpose. They'd be milking the cows. They'd be cleaning the stalls. They'd be, hanging out with my dad. They'd be plowing the fields. They'd be planting the corn to feed the cows that went in the silos. He ran all of that. So when you talk about the things that I saw, I've watched my dad welcome anyone, no matter abilities, disabilities, what they look like. Didn't matter. My dad made everyone feel like they were 100% whole. And one day, this is the defining moment, I think, in my life. I was probably 8 years old, and my dad took a hospital bed with a young girl who had hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. Her head was about this big, okay? Her name was Kathy. She had a tiny body. She was not mentally retarded. She was very intelligent. She was a little older than me. And my dad wheeled her from the infirmary, which was a little bit behind our house, into the yard. And he looked at me and he said, "Susie, this is my little princess, Kathy. I think you two would like playing with each other." So here I am, 8 years old, like, what is going, I was like, because, human nature, you see something like that. I've never seen anything like that, and this little voice, she goes, "Hi, Susie. It's nice to meet you." And I was like, oh my God. So I got a ball, like a fun ball, and she was able to like play catch with me from this hospital bed. And looking back, I think that was a defining moment in my life. That here, and there were so many other stories of my dad doing things like that, but that was the one that really hit me, where he made her feel like everything was okay. She was 100% normal, that she deserved to play and do whatever she wanted to do. And I'll never forget that. That really changed my life. So I think having a dad like that, has given me the framework to do my best to accept people at where they're at as if they're 100% whole, even if they're not. So it was a very, very touching moment I'll never forget.
Yes, yes. It's very sad to hear this. You have seen many things in past, and your father and Jeanne S said such a cool history, Susie ma'am, keeping you close to the earth. He was a true humanitarian, and I have deep respect for culturalists.
Yeah, horticulturist. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough word. It's a tough word. I struggle with it too.
farmers and gardeners. So,
Wait. Well, if Jean's, I know Jean's watching this. So horticulturalist. So my father knew, I mean, he knew everything about plants, gardening. I mean, any question my father knew. So
oh,
the first home I built, and I had some plantings that were put in. And then I got this small tree, and my father was over helping me. And I said, Daddy, how much should I water the new tree? This was back in like 1994, I think. Daddy, how long should I water the tree? And he goes, water it. And he goes, then water it again. And then water it again. And then when you think you've watered it too much, water it again. And just for safe measure, water it 2 or 3 more times. And he was so right. You know, he wouldn't say that about every plant, but because it was a tree, and he knew, because he knew I would just go out there and probably go with the hose and be done. But yeah, we used, when we were growing up, we had like an acre garden that my father had for us. So we had all the vegetables we wanted as kids. I mean, that's how I learned to love asparagus, tomatoes, eggplant, rhubarb, corn, sweet corn, everything.
wow, wow.